Your newborn came home to this. And how long did you live here?
We moved into this in August, and then we moved into that the next August, so a year. So I'm Amanda, I'm 31 years old, and my husband Chris, he's 27 years old. My son Tucker is 13 years old, and my other little one over there, Danner, is 1 year old. I have a daughter Rayleigh that just turned 8 a couple days ago, and a son Barrett who will be 5 on the 20th. Electricity doesn't work now, but it did. And we put area rugs down and curtains up and pictures on the walls where we could. I don't think I ever got below like an A- my entire school years. I would have graduated high school, entered college as I think a sophomore. I was in AP classes my junior, my senior year. And then I became a mom 8 days after I graduated high school at an alternative school. When Tucker came home, he went there. Baby slept in bed with us. When I was on my way moving back down to Oregon from Montana, I flipped my car. My oldest was about 11 months old. And I got prescribed opiates. And I was so young, and doctors didn't want me on them long term, and eventually I developed an addiction to them.
I already wanted to change my life because I knew I was going down a road where I was losing my family and losing everybody I loved. And so it just, one day it changed, it just took one step of starting treatment and getting into good graces with my legal matters and getting a job, and it all just kind of fell into place from there.
DHS got involved due to domestic violence in my marriage, and that paired with my addiction was really the start of me fighting with who I was as a person. And so my kids were removed from my care in 2013. When I lost my job, I lost my home because I was a living caregiver. I did. I ended up on the streets. I couch surfed for a while. I allowed myself to be in unsafe situations with unsafe people for a while before I realized that I really just needed to fix myself, and I had to be okay with being alone and learning who I was, and I had to accept the fact that I didn't like who I was before I was willing to change it.
You got to find it within yourself to want to be able to quit your habits, because unless you want it, you can't quit it.
And you have to want it bad.
You have to want it to be able to quit it. Otherwise, your mind's just still in that same addiction.
I was on heroin. Right after I met him, I kind of switched from heroin to meth.
Life hard?
Life is hard, yes. It's still hard right now. I mean, you can see that we're doing so much better than from going from homeless and from an addiction to having somewhere to live and our family. But it's still hard. We still have issues that are hard to resolve.
His honesty, he was willing to tell me everything I ever wanted to know about his past from the first second on. And I knew that him being vulnerable with me meant that he wouldn't be judgmental about me. He would accept me for who I was. He told me, Amanda, the truth will set you free. And I'd heard that a million times throughout my life, and it never meant anything. But coming from him, it just spoke to me in that very moment. Those words, still, I hear them all the time. Because as soon as I started listening to that one little piece of advice, he was right. I walked into St. Vinny's for the very first time at the service station on 99. I happened to walk through the doors for the very first time, right in the middle of them drawing names for the tent program that was opening up the next day. So that was the Dust to Dawn program. And we ended up being there for a while, and then we ended up getting a car, and we would live in the car, and then we did the Dust to Dawn parking program. I got the guts to ask if we could rent a room from a woman who managed one of the convenience stores down the street. And she had followed us the whole time in that program. And she was kind of one of our cheerleaders. Some people think that this room was nothing to be proud of. But when you're 8 months pregnant, sleeping in a motorhome with no electricity and no running water, this place looked really great. The night that we spent the first night in that room was the first night I felt like I could breathe. They sold the place to the neighbor next door. Once again, I built up the courage to ask for help, and I told them a little bit of our story, and they had faith in us, and they fixed this place up, new carpets, new just about everything, to give us a chance again when nobody else would. I'm stronger than I ever thought possible. I remember beating myself up because I wasn't strong enough to pick my kids over drugs or my kids over a man. I wasn't strong enough to quit a drug. I felt weaker than everything I was fighting against. And a little at a time, I got stronger. And I overcame one obstacle after another. About a year ago, I saw him for the first time in 2 years, my oldest. I was just excited to see him. Never in a million years did I think that he would be sitting on the couch next to me in a home.
Cry. It's making me tear up.
Why does that make you cry, buddy?
I don't know, it's just hard to go through. It's just what I've been through. It's just been hard.
So when you hear your mom say that, what is it? What are those little watery eyes you got going on there, mister?
I just haven't seen her in years because my dad kept me from her, and it's just been hard.
So what do you tell her about who you see her as now?
I see her as the mother that she always wanted to be, and that she just wanted another chance.
So are you giving her another chance? Why?
Because I believe that everybody should at least get another chance in life to prove that they can redo what they weren't able to do.
I have a feeling that they don't know that they're worth it. I have a feeling that they think that they'll never get out of it. I have a feeling that they think the best way to cope is in unhealthy ways. And I can't think of a single person that I saw go through the struggles we went through and keep their head up and keep going, and one step at a time, the next best thing, do the next best thing, do the next best thing, no matter how tired you are. They need role models. They need people to believe in them. They need people to offer help. They need to be confident in themselves and have faith that if they ask for help, that somebody out there might give it to them. I hope that we keep earning better for ourselves, and that we remember the little things, and we remember the accomplishments, and we appreciate the shack and the falling apart van and the shelter and walking the streets with nothing but the clothes on our back.
So you don't want to forget?
I don't want to forget. I don't want to forget. It made me who I am. I learned more about myself in the last 2 years than I learned in the 29 years prior to that. And I finally became the person I wanted to be instead of pretending to be the person that I wanted to be.